Recently, several sources indicated that the multiplayer for Halo Infinite will be going free to play at launch. Originally, an insider, Clobril, who has correctly leaked a lot of information in the past about Xbox events and is considered fairly reputable, has stated that the Halo Infinite multiplayer will be targeting 120 FPS, which is crazy for a console game. It will also include a seasonal battle pass system, which should come as a surprise to absolutely nobody, and of course, most importantly, and most surprisingly, the multiplayer is to be released for free. This lined up with a listing on an Irish toy website, Smith Toys, which advertised a groundbreaking free-to-play multiplayer experience. Of course, the listing has since been taken down, but was increasingly corroborated by more and more sources until finally, Microsoft officially announced that the multiplayer will be released for free and run at 120 FPS, confirming all of the rumors. Given this information, many questions arise. Why did they do it? What are the pros and cons? And what does this mean for the future of Halo? People speculate that this means it will be crammed full of microtransactions. That's an initial fear that a lot of people have, that this is the death of Halo and the final point of selling out. That's a decision made by Microsoft to maximize profit. To an extent, I can see how that last part is true, but to another extent, this decision was already made long ago, and not by Microsoft, Xbox, or 343. To explain from the very beginning, all online games need players and are competing with other games for said players. No online game gets players off of being fun alone. If that were the case, then Halo 3 would be the most played game on Steam and Xbox. No, what online games thrive on is systems and incentives. Systems that keep the player constantly on the hamster wheel, like visual customization, levels, XP, and competitive rankings, and incentives to play, such as low barrier to entry, a lot of friends playing, and in-game events, and a lively community. As we all know, in 2007, Halo 3 dominated the charts, but didn't do that on the quality of the game alone. Double XP weekends, forge maps, free maps, and new map packs coming into rotation all the time. Bungie had a massive community from their social features. Let's not forget, however, that the console gaming landscape was different in 2007. Halo 3 was notable for the incredible amount of social features it had in 2007, but the gaming landscape has had 13 years to catch up. Other game studios have refined strategies for player retention significantly over the years. Millions, possibly billions of dollary-doos have gone into consumer psychology with the express goal of maintaining sizable player bases. Halo has had a lot more competition, that's just simply a fact. How many other console games in 2007 have map editors, let alone custom games? Remember also that Halo 2 in 2004 is where the matchmaking and party system for online games was invented. There are a surprising number of people who don't actually know that. To keep up with online games in 2020, you need more than that. To see what an online game needs in 2020, you need only look at the competition. In terms of the shooter market, the real competitors are Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, and CSGO, remembering that Halo Infinite also launches on Steam, Overwatch, PUBG, and Destiny 2. I feel like there's some others I might be forgetting, like one that starts with an F or something? What is it, Fort something? I don't know. Anyway, note before how I categorized low barrier to entry as an incentive to play. The most noticeable barrier to entry is price. 343's hand was forced by market pressure to make the multiplayer free to play. Look at the list I just gave of the most popular shooters. Call of Duty Warzone is free to play, as is Apex Legends, CSGO, and Destiny 2. Rainbow Six Siege has had several free to play weekends and sells its most basic version for $30 EMU, as does Overwatch. PUBG clocks in at the most expensive at just over $40 Australian dollars. You can convert this all to your country's currency, but in effect, all of these games are far cheaper than a full-price AAA game, especially in an age where game companies are planning to increase the average price to $70 US. A full-priced Halo game just couldn't compete on the market today when it comes to drawing in players. Remember Battleborn, that hero shooter that Gearbox swore wasn't going to go free-to-play, and how quickly it died? The world of online games is simply far more cutthroat than it ever has been before. There never was any choice in the matter of free-to-play. I want to go through the pros and cons for the game going free-to-play. The first pro is obviously the player base. It's free Halo, and it's bound to at least draw a ton of interest at launch. How they'll maintain that, I don't know yet. 343 are planning to introduce a battle pass according to the leaks, which is a move anybody could have seen coming really. Another pro is that if the multiplayer is free, then it would at least make sense that the single player has to feature more content to justify the price of a full AAA game. 343 still haven't revealed exactly how much content there will be in the game, although who knows whether 343 will deliver on that massive open world. I wouldn't put my hopes on it. A new influx of users will also mean an influx of user-generated content. More players keeps custom games alive. In a kind of feedback loop, the more people making content will bring more players to try the game. The more people trying the game, and the more people will produce content for the game. Now, I also need to address the cons for it. Bear with me, there's a fair bit to discuss here. Free-to-play tends to draw out cheaters in droves. If they get banned, they can just make a new account. In some games, there are cheaters with literally hundreds of accounts attained through phishing and other methods. Valve implemented the Prime matchmaking system where players who had previously bought the game get access to premium matchmaking service that puts them in high priority and matches them in better games with fewer cheaters. The downside is that it segments the player base between two classes, the free-to-play peasants and the premium players. Another con is that it will rely on microtransactions for monetization. There's no other way around it. For a while, people were up in arms about it and hated the concept as a whole. I can't say that I'm too far from that either. In-game purchases that aren't DLC or expansions should never be normalized in gaming. But I at least realize that some monetization systems are less harmful than others. It seems that MCC was a testing bed for the season pass in Halo. Yet another way that 343 is following market trends. Honestly, a season pass is better than loot boxes, and paying for in-game advantages. As well as this, the free-to-play could also have an effect on connection quality depending on your region. Australia is often not considered large enough to have our own dedicated servers, so we're connected to Southeast Asian or Oceania servers. It's fine for me at least on MCC, because most of the other people I'm playing with are from Australia as well. If the game were free and had more people connecting from further away in Asia, it would likely have an effect on the quality of the games I find. This is highly contingent on region, and I can only assume wouldn't be as big of a deal for American players. To conclude, it appears that Halo is destined down a live service path. 343 have stated they're on a 10-year plan with Halo Infinite, and that there'd be no new Halo games for a while. As I argued before, games as a service seems increasingly more likely to be an inevitability for the series. It's just a reality of the dark world we live in, and whatever force is guiding history is clearly malevolent, as indicated by this, and it has deemed it so that this is our future. Free-to-play Halo as a service has clearly been on the cards for a long time now. Remember that Halo Online was first announced in 2015 exclusively for Russian markets. Free-to-play with microtransactions is the future, and there's nothing we really can do about it. But that doesn't mean give up hope. It's never right to accept a certain scenario just because that's what the market demands. Remember as consumers that it's our money they want. It's completely within our rights to push for the best product for our money, and you cannot let people tell you otherwise. Just because the game is going free to play doesn't mean they're not still after your money. Never accept mediocrity from a company. You as the consumer have the right to make your voice heard, and not everyone has to agree. Pushback against certain ideas is never unanimous. It doesn't have to be. There just needs to be enough people for 343 to think twice before they make poor decisions. Some people have been saying that the decision to go free to play means that 343 is somehow leaving the classic Halo audience behind. What every poor decision by 343 really indicates is that they take the audience for granted. Just because Halo is going free to play and seeking new audiences doesn't mean to give up and stop making our voices heard as fans. It's now more than ever that we need to give our input on the future direction of the Halo games. Well, that was a lot to get through. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so if you're interested in this kind of content, if you're interested in more videos like this, then please hit subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.
Number 15. Gravemind revealed for Halo 4 on the Xbox 720.